Chapter 1: Beijing Hotel. The luxury hotel suite was a striking fusion of ancient Chinese elegance and contemporary design. Dark mahogany panels, etched with intricate gold patterns, adorned the walls, imbuing the room with a sense of warmth and timelessness. Above, a grand chandelier bathed the space in a soft, golden glow, its crystals echoing the delicate beauty of ancient lanterns. The red silk drapes fluttered lightly in the breeze from the slightly open window, framing a sweeping view of Beijing's neon-lit skyline. Outside, rain pattered softly against the glass, creating a soothing counterpoint to the distant, rhythmic hum of the city below. Johnny stood by a low table, meticulously set with exquisite teaware. His tailored Helmut Lang suit was sharp and immaculate, contrasting with the intricate elegance of the room. He gazed out at the sprawling city, his reflection in the glass revealing a face etched with the marks of years spent on the edge of danger. The room was eerily quiet, heavy with anticipation and the latent threat of violence. The door slid open with a soft hiss, and Hai entered with a group of Pharmacom defectors, their presence marked by a tense, unspoken urgency. Johnny turned from the window, his gaze sweeping over the group with the cool, calculated assessment of someone always several steps ahead. He stepped away from the glass, his movements smooth and deliberate. Hai's voice broke the silence.
Mr. Smith?
That's me.
Johnny replied, his voice even and controlled.
You got the goods?
Hai nodded, and a member of the team, his face a mask of nervous anticipation, stepped forward to place a sleek, futuristic data storage device on the table. The atmosphere in the room grew taut, the space feeling more confined as the device was revealed. With a soft click, the case opened, and the device's soft blue glow illuminated the ornate carvings on the table's surface.
50 terabytes of data,
Hai said, his tone grave.
Once it's in your head, there's no turning back.
Johnny scrutinized the device, then shifted his gaze back to the group, a faint smirk curling at the edge of his lips.
You don't look like the kind of people I usually work with,
he said. A woman among them, her discomfort evident, replied in Mandarin.
乃是因为我们是科学家，不是工兵。
That's because we're scientists, not mercenaries. Recognizing her authority, but also understanding the need for focus, Hai silenced her with a respectful yet gentle gesture. It was clear she was the leader, but Hai's subtle intervention ensured the plan stayed on course.
Let's stay focused,
Hai said, his tone calm and deliberate. Johnny lowered himself onto a plush chair, the red silk cushions starkly contrasting with the cold steel of the upload device. He pulled back his hair, revealing the sleek, cybernetic implant embedded in his skull. With precise movements, he inserted a chip into the port and set the upload device on the table. Grabbing the TV remote, he pointed it first at the device, then at the screen. A few quick keystrokes followed, accompanied by a faint hum of electronic activity as the remote reprogrammed itself. He handed the remote to the youngest member of the team, his gaze unflinching.
This remote's been synced. Watch the upload device's counter. When it gets close to 0, select any 3 frames on the TV. Those frames will be your download code. Got it?
The young scientist nodded, absorbing every detail. Johnny continued.
Once you have the hard copy, fax it to your contact in Newark or wherever it needs to go. When I arrive, they'll input the 3-frame code to complete the download. Clear?
Another nod.
Ed,
Johnny said, settling into a sophisticated Herman Miller chair. He inserted a tooth protector into his mouth and scanned the room with practiced focus.
let's get this started.
The young man took the upload device and watched as the counter flickered to 50 terabytes of data. Johnny pointed to a button on the device.
Press that to initiate the upload. It'll stop automatically when it's done.
Johnny leaned back, his body tense but controlled.
Hit me,
he said, his voice steady and resolute. The young man pressed the button, and Johnny's world began to blur as the device interfaced with his mind. His consciousness was pulled into a vast digital abyss, where neon data streams surged like powerful currents in a dark ocean. The physical world dissolved, leaving only the sensation of cold immersion, as if he were diving into an endless sea of raw, unfiltered information. In this digital void, glowing circuits and complex webs of data formed around him, pulsing with an eerie, sentient energy. The data wasn't merely being uploaded, it was becoming part of him, expanding his neural pathways beyond their natural limits. A massive, shimmering data construct loomed ahead, the core of the encrypted information now embedded within him. As Johnny's senses were consumed by the data surge, the young man followed Johnny's instructions. Just before the counter reached 0, he clicked through TV channels. First an anime, then a commercial featuring a middle-aged Chinese woman speaking Mandarin as she promoted a medicinal product, and finally, a sumo wrestling match. The energy of the construct surged through Johnny, and his senses were overwhelmed by a blinding light, an intense brilliance that burned the weight of the data. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the light receded, and Johnny found himself back in the suite. The holographic displays dimmed, and the data streams faded like echoes in the stillness. The cold, metallic taste of the digital world lingered in his mouth, the remnants of the dive still clinging to his consciousness. The suite around him felt unreal, like a fragile illusion that could shatter at any moment. Johnny remained still, his body calm but his mind racing, processing the immense load now stored within him. The 50 terabytes of encrypted information were not just data, they were now woven into the very fabric of his being. And with them came the countdown, ticking away with each passing second. The tiny display on the upload device blinked with a new message, 3-part download code complete. The device then extruded a 12-inch long strip of thermal paper. Hi, observing the process closely, confirmed.
The download code. 3 images.
Johnny, still immersed in the data, remained calm as the process concluded. The room's light slowly returned to normal, and the digital interface began to recede from his consciousness. Meanwhile, an elevator ascended smoothly, its occupants shrouded in a tension as sharp as the blades they concealed. The Yakuza inside moved with a lethal purpose, their mission silent, deadly, and unyielding. Each man was a master of control, faces hard, emotions locked behind impassive masks. Their suits, pristine and tailored, concealed an arsenal of weapons, but it was the man in the back who drew the most attention. His face was a canvas of intricate Japanese tattoos, a living testament to the code he lived by. With a calm that bordered on the eerie, he loaded a clip into his submachine gun, the metallic click echoing in the confined space. In the suite high above the city, Johnny tightened his jaw, the flood of data searing through his mind like 1,000 needles. He growled low, the pain barely restrained as he forced himself to focus.
How much time do I have?
He demanded, his voice a mix of urgency and anger. Hai, standing nearby, kept his composure, though a flicker of unease flashed across his face.
48 hours,
he replied, his tone measured.
After that, your brain will start to deteriorate.
Johnny processed the information, his eyes narrowing as the reality of his situation sank in.
Was the buyer?
He asked, cutting to the heart of the matter. Hai hesitated, the unease in his eyes deepening.
Someone inside Pharmacom,
he said quietly.
We don't know who, but they'll pay well.
Johnny's lips curled into a smirk, the irony of his situation not lost on him.
And the handoff?
He pressed. Hai's voice dropped to a whisper, as if the walls themselves had ears.
You'll be contacted by someone named Lan. Trust no one else.
With a deliberate motion, Hai pulled a gold-embossed envelope from his jacket and handed it to Johnny. The contents, a pair of pristine first-class Concorde tickets to Newark, seemed almost absurdly luxurious in a world where survival was a matter of seconds, not hours. Johnny studied the tickets, a trace of detached curiosity in his gaze.
Concorde, huh? Fancy.
He muttered, his tone laced with sarcasm. He stood, steadying himself as the upload completed, the final threads of data weaving into his consciousness. He exhaled slowly, focusing on the task ahead.
All right, let's move.
Without another word, Johnny slipped through a side door, his departure as quiet as it was swift. Moments later, the main suite door exploded inward, the room flooding with black-clad corporate mercenaries, Uzis at the ready. Their leader, Shinji, moved with cold efficiency, his eyes scanning the room as if expecting to find his quarry hidden in the shadows.
Where's the courier?
Shinji's voice was calm, almost bored, as if the answer was a foregone conclusion. Silence hung heavy in the air, the tension palpable. Shinji gave a subtle nod, and the tattooed Yakuza sprang into action. Gunfire erupted, shredding the room in a hail of bullets. Lacquered furniture splintered, priceless artifacts reduced to shards and dust. The violence was swift, brutal, and precise. When the storm of bullets ceased, the suite was a shattered, blood-soaked ruin. Only one of the defectors remained alive, gasping for breath on the floor, his life pooling around him. Shinji approached the survivor, crouching beside him with a predatory grace.
Where did Johnny go?
He asked, his voice soft, almost gentle. The defector coughed, blood staining his lips.
I don't know.
He rasped, his voice thick with fear. Shinji's gaze hardened, a signal to the tattooed Yakuza. The blade flashed, slicing a shallow cut across the defector's arm. The man screamed. The pain immediate and sharp.
Scan him quickly.
Shinji murmured, leaning in closer.
Where is he?
The defector sobbed, desperation in his eyes.
Please. Newark. He's going to Newark.
A faint smile touched Shinji's lips as he straightened. He nodded to his men, the silent command clear. One of the Yakuza stepped forward, retrieving the strip of thermal paper from the upload device. Shinji inspected the code, his eyes narrowing as he processed the information. Shinji murmured in Japanese,
仕事を終わらせろ。彼が誰にも話さないようにしろ。
Finish the job. Make sure he doesn't talk to anyone